I'm going to show you how to install a retractable clothesline. These are great if you don't have much space because they're quite discreet. The tools that we're going to need for this job are our shovel, our concrete, got water, got our drill, our impact driver, shifter, various screws, got our pencil for marking out, our measuring tape, our brackets, got our spirit level here, our sliding square, our unit, got our metal poles. We've also got our safety equipment, our earmuffs and our face mask. The first step is to mark out where we want our retractable clothesline to go. Also, you need to make sure that it's at a proper height so that people can reach it. We're going to be attaching our unit to a fence. When we do this, we need to make sure that it's screwed into a rail. On your fence, just look for the holes made by the nails and make sure that the screws go in line with that. Once you've established what height you want your unit installed at, take your spirit level and your pencil. We need to rule a straight line where the rail is and make sure that the bubble is in between the lines. We need to measure up the distance between the two screw holes in our unit, and then we need to mark them on the fence so we know where to screw our screws into. Next, I'm going to pre-drill our holes using the drill, and then we're going to use our impact driver to put our screws into the fence. When you're screwing your screws into the fence, you need to make sure that you leave them out a little bit so that our unit has got something to hang on to. Now it's just a matter of lining up our screws with our screw holes and hanging it off the fence. Now I'm just going to check that our unit's level. Bear in mind that your fence may not be level. As you can see, this unit has considerable length, so it's up to you how far you want to extend it out. I'm going to extend it out in line with this wall, and I'm just going to mark the ground where I want to bring it out to. Now that I've got this mark here, I know that when my clothesline is extended, it will be straight with the center of the unit. So that our clothesline is parallel, I'm going to measure from my wall to the center of the unit, and I'm going to take that measurement and bring it up here as well. In order to work out the depth that we need to dig our hole for our post to go in, we need to work out what the excess is of the post above where our unit is. So just put your post up against your unit and measure the length from the top to the middle of your unit. Once you know the depth that your hole needs to be, come up to your line again and dig it out. When you're digging your hole, you always need to make sure that you're not going to be hitting any wires or pipes. Once you've checked the depth of your hole, you can pour in your concrete. Always make sure to follow the instructions. Once the concrete's in the hole, take your level and plumb up both sides of your post. Once you're sure it's straight, leave the concrete to set. Now that the concrete's in and that your post is plumb, you can backfill the hole using the dirt. This is our universal bracket. Now because it's wider than our unit back there, I'm just going to go and check which holes we need to attach our hooks to. The important thing to remember is that you don't want these hooks interfering with the lines on your clothesline. So just match up the holes that aren't going to be in the way. Once you've measured it up, bolt your hooks to your bracket. Now that our hooks are attached, we're just going to put our bracket onto our post. Once your bracket's in place, use your spirit level to check that it's level, and then do your nut up the rest of the way. Now that your bracket's secure, you can take the piece from your unit at the other end, drag it forward and hook it onto the hooks. Once you've extended the line, make sure to lock it back at the unit so that you don't have excess slack. And then once you've done that, your line is ready to have washing hanging on it. And that's how you install a retractable clothesline.